the Horror Hangout podcast where three-bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and yank at our beards and chew our beards and that kind of thing. My name is Luke Condor with Kate. I'm joined by my regular co-hosts. I'll let whoever wants to go first, Mr.
Oh, Andy Conduit Turner. What an honour. Thank you.
And the
Mr. Ben Errington.
How are we doing?
Good, man.
Yeah, pretty good.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I had a bottle of wine the other night, red wine, and I was like, I'm pulling the proper Ben Errington tonight.
Yeah.
I felt myself get really drunk, like really quickly.
Oh, you did?
Like it's also like it's a different kind of drunk when you drink red wine. It's like a euphoric. I was like really, I was like super happy for no reason. Nothing good was happening. Just drinking red wine. No. Did you?
Yeah, I did. It was a tactical one though, because when I was trying to sleep, the room was spinning like a fucking waltzer.
Oh yeah.
What, inconsistently spinning more if you're a young girl?
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, so not my finest moment, but I've done some horror quizzes in the last week, and I've been kicking ass. So I'm
that
just gonna
against
blame
like people who aren't seasoned horror
No.
podcasters.
I've done a couple online on YouTube, with it's like old recordings, but of a rival. I say rival, but more like peers. A rival horror podcast, Evolution of Horror. Don't know if you guys have ever checked that out.
Maybe actually, I don't know.
I'll have to give it a go.
A pretty good quiz, not as expansive and as fun as yours, Andy, but still some pretty good, interesting rounds. And the one thing I thought I'd mention to you, Andy, simply because I'm sure we'll be doing another quiz at some point, is we should get some picture rounds on the go. Don't want to tread on your feet there.
No, it's good. Actually,
How does that work for a podcast?
That's the reason. That's the only reason I've stayed away from picture rounds before, just because of the visual nature of them. But
so you could do a similar thing where you have someone do an impression, like you give them a horror creature, and then the person has to do an impression of that creature for the other people to guess.
That's pretty good.
And I got some suggestions from the Facebook group as well. I know, just checking the names, who it was that was in touch. David Nesbitt from the Facebook group was on. Suggested a couple of rounds. One, I'm not sure if you've ever played Keyword Countdown, if you're familiar with that the guys on IGN and a few other places do. But he's put that into the mix. I might have to have a game of that sometime.
Cool.
The only reason I suggested that is because with so many quizzes that you've done and the quality is so high, I mean, I have no doubt you're going to maintain that, but at the same time, just wanted to throw some suggestions in there, just for things that I find easier, if anything. I'm very visual.
Yeah.
Very visual.
After last week, is like which horror ape is this? Is it Amy? Is it Monkey Gorillas? Is it Dunstan?
If you do a whole quiz based on horror apes, then I'll be incredibly impressed. One that goes on for 3 hours as well.
Speaking of Dunstan checks in, last week you said you were going to watch Dunstan checks in. Did you watch Dunstan checks? I actually know the answer. But we've got to get it on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, after last week and all the mentions of Dunstan checks in, weirdly, by the time we finished the podcast, I had no interest in actually going to watch the film. I checked out. So I didn't watch it. I think Andy's done not an official watch, but
I've scrubbed through and seen a couple of key scenes. I've seen Pee Wee Herman, what he's all about. I've seen Dunstan himself knocking a kid down an air vent.
Do you remember the part where he massages a woman?
I saw that on the scrubbing bit through, and then she sexually assaulted the actual masseuse.
Jesus.
When he came back in. I guess Dunstan had got her really worked up and had implied consent on that man's behalf, and then mistakenly she acted on that. So I'm not sure a court would convict her of it.
Yeah, who's in the wrong in that situation?
So
other than Dunstan.
So when Dunstan was massaging her, wait, Dunstan is the monkey, right?
Dunstan's the orangutan. Yeah, he I think he just uses his powerful ape hands to apply pressure in a way that perhaps the character there
She thought it was a human.
she thought it was the human masseuse, and he'd actually just stepped out the room to get some
Oils.
some oils or whatever.
That's quite a common sort of sitcom setup, isn't it? Masseuse scenario where someone ends up massaging.
Masseuse. Yeah,
it's definitely in Friends, and I feel like I've seen it in other stuff before. Friends, which also includes a monkey.
In something I watched last night, the new series of Disenchantment. There was that exact scene.
Oh right. Why does it keep happening? It's such a common trope.
I'm going to build a story, like a book or a film around that one scene. It's just going to be that, but like Saw. Like,
I'm pretty sure that's got its own subgenre on Pornhub as well.
The mistaken masseuse.
One way to find out.
There's only one way to find out. To be honest, though, when we were talking about monkeys, talking about monkey horror last week, and I mentioned that film Link, I've done a bit of digging into Link. So I found out. So I think we only mentioned it by name, but listen to this for a premise. When a female zoology student is invited to a remote seaside mansion to assist a primatology professor with experiments involving chimpanzees, dangerous events start to occur, all involving the intelligent 45-year-old chimp Link. I like how he's got an age.
I've just thought of another monkey horror film as well, Phenomena, or it's that Argento film. It's got a different name as well. That's got a monkey horror thing going on. A surprise monkey horror.
A surprise monkey.
Yeah, it's not in any of the marketing. But,
this monkey though is in a suit, like from the all the images I see of it. It's like a monkey butler, and there's also a still of it. What looks like it's lifting up a car. I've got to see it. We need. Yeah. And also, as mentioned on the Discord this week, our classic episode on The Omen, which also includes some primates. The baboons barking bad boy.
The baboons bark at the bad boy. Yeah.
Which, is a true highlight of monkey horror in the history of cinema.
Although we're being unfair to those baboons, they were barking at the devil's kid. Are they not the heroes of the piece?
Yeah.
Heroes are often misunderstood.
Yeah, I don't speak baboon.
He even turned you guys against the baboons.
Yeah, bloody baboons, leave him alone. He's the son of the devil. Oh, well, I guess so.
When you put it that way.
Anyway, for monkey horror, I think Link is going to be something I'm going to have to check out because it's got quite a good cast. It's got Elizabeth Shue from The Boys.
I feel like it's an untapped market. There's got to be more monkey horror films, surely.
Because monkeys are scary.
Yeah.
Have your face up.
And strong. Yeah.
And strong.
And they can climb.
And they eat their own shit.
Well.
And eat their own shit while staring directly at you.
Yeah, they're only weak against water. They're not great at that, I hear.
They like water.
They like melt. Like the Wicked Witch.
No, they're like rock type. They're weak against it. You get a type advantage. If you ever have to fight an ape, do it on the water.
What type are they? Monkeys. Tree type.
Yeah, tree type. Rock fighting, maybe.
There are monkey Pokemon as well, right?
Yeah.
Loads. Primate, probably somewhat.
Primate. There's tons of others.
Yeah. Have we got any news of the monkey horror news? That should be a new segment. Monkey horror news.
It was on the Ricky Gervais podcast, wasn't it? Just a section called Monkey News. Yeah. So a few things this week. I don't know if you guys saw that HBO Max preview saying that like loads of films are coming out on HBO Max this year, but we got like seconds of a few things, including Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, which I think some photos were released as well. And I think there's like a still of that James Wan's Malignant, and also a tiny snippet of The Conjuring 3 as well, just like Patrick Wilson on the phone.
Someone on the phone said, "The devil, they made me do it." I'll see about that.
The devil made me do it, did he?
I'll be right there.
Come around right now. The Malignant still looks interesting. It's kind of like it looks like it's on its side, and in the background is some weird. It looks like maybe an alternate universe. I can't really work it out. But I've heard it might have influences from giallo as well as a genre, which could be quite interesting for a modern film to to do something like that. It looks very red in the still, like red with a blue background. So maybe it's just
a little twist on Giallo.
A little twist on Giallo. Just
Not
a little
yellow,
twist.
red.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, like obviously there's some striking red imagery and a lot of like Dario Argento stuff and that. So yeah, so that's what I've got for that. I don't know if you guys also saw the trailer this week for the Nicolas Cage versus evil animatronics.
I did actually, yeah. It's like
Willy's
a
Wonderland.
Five Nights at Freddy's sort of thing going on.
Yeah, the poster is outstanding. Very exciting. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I will. But that sounds like quite an interesting concept, which I'm sure Nicolas Cage is going to have a hell of a lot of fun with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Willy's Wonderland. So he's called the janitor, Nicolas Cage. He finds himself stranded in a remote town. Unable to pay the repair shop to fix his Jeep, he agrees to work off his debt by spending the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland. Not just cleaning Willy's, cleaning Willy's Wonderland. An abandoned theme park. That's weird. Like, how dirty is this place? Like, oh, how am I going to work this off? Well, my abandoned theme park full of animatronic characters needs cleaning, so you can go in there and do that.
Also, just take an invoice, pay it within 30 days. Nicholas.
Yeah.
Nicholas.
Yeah. What? This is like washing the dishes when you can't afford to pay for your meal at the restaurant. This is mad. This kind of stuff don't happen anymore. Anyway, but it also says, and the janitor doesn't play nice. So I'm assuming the owner of this abandoned theme park is going to be fuming in the morning because it ain't going to be clean, is it?
I'd say watch the trailer, but maybe don't, because the trailer might give away a bit too much.
I might watch the trailer.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've been watching more, like less and less trailers since I haven't been going to the cinema because I feel like trapped where I have to watch trailers. And as I think I've mentioned before, I think I've seen the trailer for A Quiet Place Part 2 more than I've actually seen my own reflection in the mirror. So
it's all over the place.
Yeah, so I'm kind of liking my newfound freedom from not watching trailers. It's quite exciting for when I watch new releases, especially when stuff's coming out on.
What sells you on a movie more? The poster, like a really good poster, or a really good trailer?
I think a trailer.
Yeah, I like a trailer.
Well, yeah, because posters can be kick-ass, but part of you knows maybe they just hired a good graphic designer.
Yeah.
And I think quite a lot of big films that have been great sometimes have the initial release, certainly the ones they have on the billboards, are not always the best posters. There was like a series of like the generic mashup of just here's a few faces from the film, like always reminds me like it's very cut and paste from like the first Iron Man, and it's like, okay, so let's get all those faces. But then other people you see them on the socials, don't you? People do incredible posters.
Yeah, like fan made or just artists who are making posters for films. Just some of them are absolutely amazing. But trailers, I feel like I still get like getting the goosebumps from a trailer. When it's something you've been really looking forward to, and you've had so many thoughts about it, and then suddenly you see like a money shot moment, which can be a shame because sometimes it's good to just see it in the film. But I think sometimes seeing it in the trailer can be just as exciting.
Yeah, I guess I prefer trailer to be a bit more teasery and a bit less explainy.
Yeah, I think a good example.
You can do good and bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the only other bit of news I've got is that the sci-fi 10-episode series Day of the Dead will have ties to the original movie, apparently. Not just in name, so I'm guessing...
including the same title, yeah.
Including the same title.
It's weird, because I always felt like I was really done with zombies, but it's been a while now, and I'm kind of thinking, I wouldn't mind checking out some more zombie stuff.
Action. Yeah. Did you guys... I know I mentioned it before, but did you guys see Kingdom on Netflix?
No, I didn't watch it.
I heard you talk about it. It's the Korean one, right?
Yeah, that kind of revitalized zombies for me. I was a bit done, and I didn't really want to see anything. And I was like, well, zombies in an era kind of feels a bit like, okay, let's see how that's done. But it was good.
My friend Duncan has lent me Days Gone, the zombie horde game thing. So I'm looking forward to that. Might scratch that zombie itch.
Yeah, I've got that as well. So
Did we get some Spiral news this week? Because that's not HBO Max, is it? Like I saw some screenshots.
Yeah.
Are we due a trailer soon?
I think the story I saw, which was just about, I don't know if it was the makers of or whether it was Chris Rock saying they wanted it to be more like Seven than Saul. Sort of like a police procedural mystery horror, I guess, where it's like a detective unraveling something. I can't remember where I saw that, but that was, I only read the headline in the first couple of paragraphs. So, but that obviously got pushed back. Have we seen a trailer for that?
I've seen some shots. I'm not sure I've seen a trailer yet, though.
Yeah, I've seen a poster.
Speaking of the Saw franchise, it was the creator and your best mate Lee Wannell's birthday over the weekend, I think. Happy birthday, Lee.
Happy birthday, Lee. I wish you many happy returns of the day for that day. Sorry, a bit late. Apologies. Yeah, that's it for the news. That's all I've got. That's all she wrote.
Has anybody seen anything good this week? Or bad? Or mediocre? Oops.
Anybody?
I haven't seen it yet, but I found something that I really want to seek out. I think it was a Nightmare on Film Street post that showed like there is like an Indian version of Nightmare on Elm Street. The whole film is on. I don't have the title in front of me. I'll look it up in a second. I'll probably pronounce it terribly at the same time. But the whole film is on YouTube, sadly not with subtitles on it. I'm going to try and see if it is available anywhere with subs. Because
I thought you were going to say, I'm just going to see if I can understand it. I'm just going to.
I think it's fairly shot for shot. Nightmare on Elm Street. The musical numbers might not translate as easily, but
is it Mahakal, a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff in Hindi?
That's it.
Oh yeah, I can see the knife fingers. That's interesting.
I saw a couple of clips from the Nightmare on Film Street post about it. And I'm going to have to seek it out, I think, and watch it. I looked at a couple of clips on the YouTube channel. I'm going to have to sit and watch that. Other than that, I've just been playing Darksiders still, going through that old series where I guess it's horror-related because there's demons and stuff, but I'm a big man with a sword. I'm chopping them all up.
Get them chopped.
Never played that. Is it more of an Xbox thing?
I think it's on everything, but I had them all from an old sale on the Xbox, so I thought, you know what, go through these on the quiet until something I really want to get into new comes out, and that Medium is next week, I think. So
cool. I watched a new film on Shudder. I think it's a Shudder original, Anything for Jackson. I saw some people on Twitter talking about it. Some stirrings, people saying it was cracking. And it was pretty cracking, pretty good. So the idea is it's kind of like a reverse take on The Exorcist, or it's about a reverse exorcism. This old couple who are Satanists, kind of more amateur Satanists, kidnap a pregnant woman, and the idea is that they're going to put the ghost of their dead grandkid in the baby.
Okay.
So they kind of make a deal with the devil. The thing that makes it kind of fun and really interesting is they're not very good Satanists, so things don't quite go as planned, and there's like lots of demon action, otherworldly stuff happening, and then it's kind of two old people trying to just make the most of it. It's really kind of well shot. I wouldn't say it's low budget. It feels quite polished. It's a lot of fun. I'd probably give it like probably a solid B+.
Nice.
Around that kind of mark. It's good.
I recognise the poster for that. I think I've seen some people chatting about it on Twitter.
And Shudder are really going for it so far this year, right? I saw they had a big post about all the new originals they've got coming out in January alone. It seems like off the back of them having a really strong end to last year, they're really going for the new content this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing they got a lot more subscribers last year with the originals. I've just remembered as well. There's one ghoulish ghost thing in Anything with Jackson, with a whole thing around flossing its teeth, which was creepy as shit. It was pretty great. Just watch it for that moment, I guess.
All right. Oh well.
That's good, man. Anything else?
That's about it for the horror stuff, other than the topic of tonight. I've been watching more Samurai Jack because that's just so nice to put on. Yeah, Eric Andre show because that's good to
Lovely.
wake you up. Yeah.
I did manage to see Sputnik.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
It is on Netflix, yeah.
Oh,
so I
good,
think
I
it
need to
only came
watch
on
that.
I think it only came on Netflix this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Not the most original sort of sci-fi slash. I mean, do you guys kind of know what it's about? Kind of.
Yeah, I
Like
know a little bit about it.
A Sputnik, like a.
It's not really
ship.
about.
Isn't it a bit of a? It's a bit.
About Russian
A bit of a venom. A bit of a venom goes
Yeah,
in a
venom.
guy, and then he comes
There's
out.
a bit of Venom,
Cool.
a bit of like classic Alien. It reminded the creature, without giving too much away, reminded me of the creature from Life as well. I don't know if you guys saw that with
That,
I
he
like
was a bit of a
Life.
venom as well, wasn't he?
a bit of a
He
Venom.
was like
Yeah.
a venom, but yeah, like a little cute
He was a
face.
right nasty bastard, wasn't he? That thing in Life. He was just a
was.
horrible
Quite
bastard.
sinister.
I just
That bit where he kills Ryan Reynolds. I was like, yes, he's a treasure.
he's a bloody traitor. Leave him alone. It was
You
pretty
rotter.
good. The like creature effects are great. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything. I found it quite slow, and the parts where there wasn't a
Where
creature,
Putin comes on screen. What are
the
you
part
doing?
where Putin came on screen and just started going off on one.
Now be careful, guys. If any world leaders listening is going to get you for slagging him off.
That's true. That's true. But I'm sure he doesn't enjoy any sort of Western content, you know. He doesn't consume any of it.
Steven Seagal.
But yeah.
Well, it's Steven Seagal, isn't he?
Oh yeah, big Steven Seagal. He loves him.
Yeah.
Now you said both those names.
That's
they'll
it.
pick
There'll
up
be
on this.
a connection, an algorithm.
Code
There we
word.
go. Bomb's
If
going to
you
be
are
dropped on my
listening-
house.
If you are listening, Vladimir, big fan.
Give it up. If you are listening, Vladimir, just have a day off for God's sake. Can't be bloody president forever. Just give it a rest. Let someone else have a turn. So what? All of the
Teaching Vladimir about sharing is like, never thought of it that way. Thank you, Ben.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Why has no one else told me that? All of the non-alien creature stuff in this movie I found a bit slow, and I didn't really care about any of the characters. That's pretty much it. That's all I got to say on that.
Okay.
And the only other thing I saw was, so I've been doing the true crime on Netflix because they've had some good stuff. I saw The Ripper last week, which I mentioned. So I watched the 4-part Netflix documentary about Night Stalker, the hunt for a serial killer, which I kind of knew a little bit about, but it was pretty gruesome and harrowing and a little bit.
Is that the Stalker one? The Night Stalker one?
That's like
Yeah,
Richard Ramirez, is that his name?
Richard Ramirez. So he just lets himself into houses in Los Angeles and just did a wide variety of sick stuff. But it was pretty interesting, not just to find out about his crimes, but also like how he was caught. Spoiler, he was caught. That was a big spoiler. He was caught, but also like about the way after he got caught, the way some women treated him as like almost like a sex symbol.
Yeah, that's like the weirdest stuff. And isn't he caught with like his shades on and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's really weird because like throughout they're like, he's got horrible teeth and he stinks of BO. And some women were like, yes, that's what I wanted. BO? I love a good bit of BO. Yeah, but he kind of went into it a bit. And obviously with documentaries like this, they do kind of fall into the habit of sort of making a big deal about that sort of stuff, but they kind of didn't focus on it too much. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating, especially like how certain evidence was, the way they sort of found certain evidences, and the police, like how they were involved. Because the Ripper, the police were just a bunch of absolute knobheads. But the police in this, you kind of respect them. They've almost got like a bit of celebrity appeal about them as well. Hey, I'm a hotshot detective trying to find the Night Stalker.
They've got like cool jackets and stuff, by the way.
Yeah, and I just feel like their stories and you find out a bit about their families and stuff. It kind of made you right. Oh, you better bloody catch him. Better catch him.
But
And when
spoilers,
they
they did.
badass.
They got him.
spoilers they did, but it's not just down to them. It was like if you know anything about Richard Ramirez, the way he was cool, it was like a real community effort. Like, I'll just if you want to watch it, go and watch it, because the way he is cool is pretty satisfying. You're like, yeah, eat shit.
Yeah,
eat shit, buddy.
And you think they could have really dispelled the whole thing of people really liking him? Like, if you knew that he was getting this celebrity, every time he was in the paper, you'd always like take the photo as he was blinking or something. So he's like, look at him.
Also, this is mad, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any of his victims at all, but he killed a man named Peter Pan. That is the last straw. That is the last straw. Killed a man named Peter Pan. Yeah. It was almost like on the same level as Les Battersby being in the Ripper thing. Like, of just like mind-blowing what? When they said his 13th victim,
I like how
Peter
they
Pan.
throw in like an episode 3 or 4 landmine for Ben. He just can't get over these little facts that are just thrown in casually.
Because they're there talking about it. Like, no, in the series, nobody mentions the fact that he killed Peter Pan. They're all just talking about it normally, like, yeah, and then he killed Peter Pan. And you're like, what?
Did they show the picture of the Disney cartoon Peter Pan?
No.
With like not a real picture.
I feel terrible. I feel terrible laughing about it, but I'm laughing at the bizarre nature of the fact that name was just thrown in there.
It's a common name. I know loads of Peter Pans.
Never grew up.
Yeah, mostly as kids, oddly enough, but lost touch as I left school.
Yeah, but I recommend it if you're into stuff like that. Like, I find it a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it could be like they either drag these true crime things out way too long, where you're just like, okay, and now there's 4 episodes about the trial, and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I like a bit of a true crime story. There's a couple of good ones on Netflix. There's the one about the stairs.
Oh,
the surreal. Yeah. You know, was it him? Was it an owl? Was it like genuinely? That's a real thing.
The thing is with that one, you come away thinking, I still don't know. Like, I still don't know what happened.
Yeah,
it was an owl.
That's a mystery. Yeah, could be an owl. Could be
weird
the guy.
that the guy had very owlish eyebrows as well. I think he is an owl anamorph.
A bit beaky.
Owl anamorph.
And then there's the good. I think
Don't
last
Fuck
time I
with Cats,
checked, I've not seen Don't Fuck with Cats.
Although it's got some pretty horrendous bits.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could bring myself to do it. There's the Lost Honor of Christopher Jeffries is on there, like a UK-based one. It's dramatized, and I feel so bad for that guy because it was the guy that it's actually about the guy that didn't do anything. Like, but still, I think if you ask a lot of people, certainly UK-based people, they tend to remember that that was the guy that was the suspect. So it's actually about a guy that didn't do the murder and how he was.
The actor who plays him was great as well.
It's really good.
In Bristol.
Yeah, so true crime recommendations this week.
There was a crime around here. There was like a woman who had buried some people under a patio. I don't know if there's anything exciting about it, but I'm looking forward to the true crime documentary about it. And so a patio woman.
It was Fred and Rose West in the Southwest as well. They put people under a patio.
It's a common way. Can't wait to get rid of your Peter Pans.
In many ways, maybe murderers have been massively disadvantaged by the increased popularity of decking and like block paving in general, as opposed to patios.
They've been absolutely screwed over, haven't they? B&Q on a one company just
rampage against serial killers.
Rampage against serial killers. Yeah.
Time's up, fuckos.
That's the
Time's up
tagline on the advert. Time's up, fuckos.
B&Q.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You better not do it if other people B&Q it, because you know where to hide the bodies, I suppose.
God. But that was pretty much it this week.
Apart from the film of the hour.
Yeah, yes indeed. So, People Under Stairs. People Under Stairs is a 1991 horror comedy film.
The thing I saw was horror, comedy, mystery, thriller, fantasy. It was a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Coming of age.
Written and directed by Wes Craven, starring everybody from
documentary.
Twin Peaks. Brandon Adams, Everett McGill,
yeah.
Wendy Robie, AJ Langer. Ving Rhames isn't even listed here.
I got him in mind.
2 adults and a juvenile with a weird name break into a house occupied by a brother and sister and their stolen children. That's kind of a spoiler.
Gives away the major
And therefore,
points.
they must fight for their lives.
Yeah. So ratings across the board: IMDb 6.4, 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, 58% audience. Letterboxd at 3.4. A couple of choice reviews from Letterboxd. Jeffrey wrote batshit 5 stars. Shane Henry wrote Wes, as in Wes Craven. Wes the Exit, 1 star.
Oh, where's the exit? I
He's
mean,
been waiting for that. He's
I will
put down every Wes Craven movie.
I will give him that over last week's Kong No.
Oh yeah, it's not the same guy, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, God no. Did you guys?
Yeah.
This is completely off topic. Did you guys ever seen Uwe Boll's Letterboxd account? Which I think
maybe.
I think it was short-lived, but I think he deleted it after a while. But he was reviewing Marvel movies and stuff.
I like seeing filmmakers who are a bit disgruntled. The guy who did Fantastic Four, the new
his own movie, right?
Josh Trank.
Yeah, he was on there not ripping into stuff, but being brutally honest with his critiques of stuff.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
It looks like the Uwe Boll account is gone. So he was just basically being quite horrible about lots of movies, but kind of wasn't making sense either. I kind of want to find an example, but
putting comparisons on this end, not as good as seminal video game adaptation Alone in the Dark.
I've found 3 of his reviews actually, and I will mention these quickly. Rambo: First Blood Part 2. His review says the movie that the movie that turns boys into men's. The Hungover Games. I don't even know what that is. And he just writes, "I liked the breasts." And Zombieland, he writes, "For hipsters, fucking crap."
Wow. Uwe Boll. What a guy.
What a very angry man.
So in this film, we got Brandon Adams, who plays Poindexter, which I didn't know was a real name. Poindexter Williams, but they don't even use that name. They call him Fool throughout the film. Poindexter. It's not Poindexter, it's Poindexter.
Like a scientist. Like what you like to say if you're bullying a kid for wearing glasses in the 80s.
Yeah. Is the name Dexter short for Poindexter? Like Rich is short for Richard.
So his name's Poindexter, and they call him Fool as
his name's Poindexter, and they never really bring it up. I think once or twice they go Poindexter. If someone said to me the name is Poindexter, I'm like, I'm calling you Poindexter. You're not getting away with it with your weird nickname. Fool.
Or at least a short name like Dex or something like that. But no.
Point. Yeah. So Poindexter, Paul Williams. Yeah, you're right. From Twin Peaks crowd, Everett McGill and Wendy Robie, who played a kind of love interest in Twin Peaks, which was very cool for Twin Peaks fans to see. I didn't realize Everett McGill could be this hammy. Like in Twin Peaks, he's very kind of taciturn and kind of steady and quiet and stuff. He's a weird guy in this film, in his gimp suit, which I forgot. I'd seen this film when I was a very young kid. I did not remember there was a gimp suit.
It's the second movie with Ving Rhames and a gimp.
Oh yeah.
He gets plugged by him both times.
He does. He really does. Unlucky. He must be like, before I say yes to this movie, is there a gimp in it?
And he says, "Okay, which hole?"
Okay, he's already dropped his keks.
Yeah. AJ Langer as Alice. Was she the little girl? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't recognise her. She has a hot bath in this film. Almost as hot as the baths that when Kat, my fiance, has a bath, and I get in after she's done. and it's so hot. Like, I don't understand how someone can have a bath when it's that hot.
She's made of steam. She just goes out the door like that. See you later.
Billy Cobbs, or as you might say in Bristol, Billy Baps.
Billy Baps,
Billy Baps or Rolls.
That's Grandpa Booker. Grandpa T. What's the wrestler called? TJ Booker.
Booker T.
Booker T. That's the one.
Yeah. This is the guy.
Grandpa Booker T.
This is the guy from I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, isn't it? This is what I recognised him from. The old dude who like helps them. I think they think he's the killer first, and then he helps them in the one on the island. And he's in.
Don't know.
Not as familiar with I Still Know What You Did Last Summer as you might think.
And he's one of the old fellas in the Night at the Museum movies. You know, there's like
Mickey Rooney. One of Dick Van Dyke's mates, yeah.
Oh yeah. Kelly Jo Minter as Ruby Williams. Don't remember who that was. Maybe the mum. That'd be the mum. The mum was.
The mum was.
I got the relationship completely wrong.
Yeah.
Sean Whalen as Roach, who was the kind of freaky-looking kid / he was a bit of a Peter Pan, Rufio sort of guy.
Tongueless boy.
You'd recognise him if you look at him now.
Yeah.
He's got a very like specific face, I would say.
Yeah, I think he's been in loads of stuff, but
yeah,
where do I recognise him from? I think he's in.
Like the shape of his face is unforgettable.
Yeah,
like, once you've seen that.
Imagine him made up as the Joker.
Yeah, it'd be good. Well. Yeah. There's a few other people here as well. Some of the cops. Stairmaster. Who was the Stairmaster?
That's like
one of the guys, I guess, that's under the stairs is the leader.
Stairmaster. Stairmaster is like something you work out with, isn't it? Like some piece of workout equipment. I'm just having to go on the old Stairmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it must be those guys. The kind of the grunge rock band that live downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grunge rock band. They all look like
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, yeah. Did you say Meatloaf?
Yeah,
they all look like Meatloaf when he was made up in the "I Would Do Anything for Love" video.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Meatloaf. That's where he's been all this time.
It's weird because it kind of makes out that they're like zombie kids, but also like normal kids. Like I don't, because they eat people. They like eat hands and stuff, but. They're also just like if you put a kid in the basement for so long, he's not going to mutate, is he?
I guess they've just been down here for so long. You know, maybe after all these lockdowns come out, we'll comparatively look like the
grunge
people under the stairs.
Yeah. Severe lack of vitamin D. Is that the sun one?
Yeah, that's the sun one.
Sunny D.
Sunny D.
Yeah,
that's what they'll be off to get when they get free. A couple of bottles of Sunny D, sort them right out.
Yeah.
They
kind of rejuvenate, yeah.
Just restore them.
Okay, so the film starts with a certain Poindexter. I know that is. Fool Williams. Oh, it's got like a tarot reading at the start.
Is that how he gets his nickname? Because he gets the card that is the Fool and it's his birthday?
Yeah, but everyone's calling him Fool constantly throughout the...
It's one of those nicknames that's really caught on.
Maybe the word gets out.
You never expected it to.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Fool in your tarot reading. What? No? We're just gonna call you Fool from now on.
Either that or the week before, you know, like they were watching the A-Team and he was a big fan of BA. He used to use his thing. He said, "I'm gonna call you Fool," and it just coincidentally, like a later date, it came up in his cards.
Yeah.
Believable.
So in the tarot readings. There's, I think it was like a fool grabbing the sun or something like that.
There was like a dog and there was a sun. Maybe if you watch it back, there's lots of symbolism, but because there's a dog in the film.
Oh, by the way, before we start dipping deep into the plot, and there's quite a bit of plot to dip into. Have you seen this before? Is this the first time watch?
This is the first time I'd ever seen it.
First time for me as well.
Were you expecting this to be like it is?
No.
I was expecting it to be I don't know, like a bit ghosty and magic, maybe. Or I thought the people under the stairs were going to be a bit like the Don't Be Afraid of the Dark ghoulies, like like slightly supernatural. But they're not. And I thought genuinely, I think from Wes Craven's caliber, this is coming after A Nightmare on Elm Street and all that thing. I thought it was going to be less of a kids' horror movie where they also say fuck than it was.
I mean, it could have, if you remove like one or two little bits, it could easily have been a kids' horror movie or like a long episode of Goosebumps. If you just removed the cannibalism and Gimp and
if you get rid of the Gimp, you're getting rid of like half the film.
It's true. There's a lot of Gimp.
You could just
running up and down a corridor.
If they just had a wardrobe change though, and he, for some reason, hunted people more effectively when dressed as.
He gets into that suit very quick. Like
he does. I reckon he's got it lined with butter. Inside.
Yeah, I reckon that their talc bill is through the roof.
Or he's got like some sort of
right into it.
He's got some sort of Wallace and Gromit like contraption. There's a lot of chains
Man.
and pulleys.
Iron Man gets into his briefcase suit. His is the Gimp suit slips over him.
It's his extremist armor that can come in the pieces and attach.
Yeah, that's what he does. That kind of weird. Whenever he's chasing someone in a Gimp suit, he does these kind of weird Tarzan noises. Do you know what I mean? He kind of goes, "Oh."
He's very shouty. You can tell they've got a detached house. You couldn't do that if you were in a terrace.
I'm thinking that. How did they like soundproof this house so that like shotgun blasts couldn't be heard?
You know what houses like in America? Most of them are detached, big land.
Gunshot noises all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw this film a long time ago, and I didn't really remember thinking it was good. I just remember thinking I've no idea what it was. Watching it this time, there's like a bunch of like, I'm sure that Wes Craven is musing on bigger themes about like wealth distribution and racism and all this kind of stuff. But it's hard to get to that when there's just so much bonkers stuff, like at the surface level coming at you. Gimp suits and killer dogs and grunge band people under the stairs. Like a little kid who can for some reason beat up grown men.
Oh, sometimes he'll give him a poke in the nose or something like that, or just like
punching the.
I come to this, punching the balls, but also like the kid that just goes at it with like one plan that he's going to do, but nothing to follow up. Like, I'm going to go at that man with a gun. I'm going to smash him with this lamp, and then I guess I'll just wing it from there.
Yeah. There's so many times that he should have just been shotgunned in the face. That kid. He was on borrowed time, like the whole way through this movie.
This is a hero that should not have succeeded.
Yeah. Exactly. So, Poindexter lives in the Los Angeles ghetto. Him and his family are getting evicted. He lives in like a really crazy, it's kind of like almost dystopian little apartment building.
Yeah,
there's like people shooting up.
The halls are absolute crack dens.
There's like 5 dogs like having a scrap in the corner.
Yeah, fighting dogs.
Yeah,
he has a rabbit as well.
He has a sick mom, but she has, as we learn very quickly, his mom has a completely operable form of cancer, where literally, by the sound of it, if you had the money, you could just go to hospital and it'd be like a same-day job.
Yeah. Can't even afford to get that cancer cut out of her, she says. It's like,
but
she's like a list when you go in.
But she's literally at death's door, and they have the worst clause in the rent ever, whereby if you miss the rent by a day, you have to pay 3 months' rent as a punishment, or they'll be evicted.
You'd just be like, how are you sticking by these rules? I mean, can I not go to Citizens Advice and they could say, shove up your ass, landlord?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Wasn't sure. Was Ving Rhames the boyfriend of the sister, or what was his relationship to this family?
I think so. Yeah, that's the kind of impression I got. I don't know if that was wrong.
She didn't seem very upset when he didn't come home later on in the film.
Yeah. Maybe he's just like, he's a boyfriend, but he's one of those where you're like, He's my boyfriend, but I'd rather he just fucked
Well,
off.
Rather he'd be dead and
they haven't
eaten.
put a label on it. Obviously, it's a
Yeah,
pre-Facebook era, so
I guess
maybe they were just seeing
yeah.
each other a little bit. I don't know.
And he'd overstayed his welcome. Like, she thought it was just a one and done, but he was like, "What are we having for dinner?" And she was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
Yeah.
But it's
One of
okay. He's
those,
not the
but-
worst though, because for that neighborhood, he only seems to really endorse, property-based crimes. He's like, oh no, not about the drugs or anything. I'm just about burgling the liquor store and
Burglarizing.
yeah. The first thing I saw as well when he mentioned that the landlord, who were real pieces of shit, had a collection of gold coins, and I thought, oh my god, it's the leprechaun. He's the landlord.
How did he find out about them having a collection of gold coins?
It was on a. He mentions getting something while they were robbing the liquor store, writing invoices, and I don't know how he knows about the collection of gold coins.
And also, I think we were led to believe that the landlord is also the landlord of something else, or like they seem to own a lot of the town.
Yeah,
it's all kind of
a lot
intertwined.
of the town bringing up all these bad contract clauses, and as we've seen from a quick snip of them when we visit their house, also a terrible eating disorder where he just continues to eat and eat and eat but never swallow. He's just filling his mouth with more and more food.
Oh yeah.
You got to chew and swallow now. What? That's for losers, that is.
He's playing that game where you see how many marshmallows you can put in your mouth and still speak, except it's meat.
That's it.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, don't choke.
Oh, a bit chewy, yeah.
People die of that all the time.
Yeah. So they've got a daughter in that house. They call each other mommy and daddy, and they've got a daughter called Alice who, I can't remember what she like reads the Bible wrong or something at the start, so she gets her hair brushed.
She finishes her dinner, and they do a classic. I'm a bit of a horrible parent. Did you say what? Oh, sorry, ma'am. I do love you, but she's lost her fork temporarily.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And she's like, you know what the punishment is for losing a fork? And I was like, you've established a punishment for losing a fork specifically.
How many times has this happened?
Luckily, there's like a disembodied arm that scoops up the fork and hands it to Alice.
Luckily.
And because she then implies that she's been feeding that thing in the walls. So obviously, we immediately know that they know there's something in the walls.
Do we hear it at this point as well? Do we hear Rose? We hear Rose quite a lot.
Yeah, he's always chittering on. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the most ludicrous sounds.
Will you keep it down in there? Jesus.
To be fair, if he was
live with a crazy frog.
Yeah. If he was in my walls, I'd be trying to kill him as well. I'd be getting the rent-a-kill out to set some traps or something. Pump them walls with some gas, please, because there's a fucking noisy
You're
kid.
just there trying to endlessly fill your mouth with steak, just saying ding, 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 ding. ding. No!
I'm going to say, I quite like, the gaps in the walls. This film's called The People Under the Stairs, but it's also about the boy in the walls.
Yeah,
and there's
in the walls.
There's like a big, I don't know what you call it, like a cavity,
wall
cavity.
A cavity wall, yeah.
Yeah. Is that normal to have that so wide?
Person size.
Yeah.
No,
there's like little vents
sure.
and trapdoors everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But
maybe if you're a pharaoh and you built a big tomb to live in, but
yeah.
I don't think it's standard. I don't think it's up to the normal building regs.
Yeah.
The house is pretty massive, though.
Yeah. So Leroy and he's got a mate called Spencer. They're going to go break into this house to steal the coins. Fool goes with them.
Yeah, because he's kind of agreed they're gonna make some money to be able to afford the routine cancer operation and the rent.
Mm-hmm.
How much are these coins worth as well? Because at one point they've got a handful of them. And they're like, you could pay rent for.
To the year 2000, so 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years of rent for like 4 coins.
But yeah, so they send Fool first, and he dresses as a
Boy
It's
Scout.
like a Boy
Oh,
Scout
yeah.
selling the
Yeah.
cookies. And try as he might, he can't get in. So when the lady comes to the door, so when Mommy comes, because in the credits they don't have names, they're just called man and woman.
Yeah.
So woman comes to the door and says, "Oh no, like we watch what we eat very careful in this house, so we don't want any cookies, thanks." It's like, "Oh, can I go for a weed then?" She goes, "Nah."
He goes, I'm busting for a shite. Can you let me in? And they just go, do it elsewhere, please,
And
mate.
she goes, "No, absolutely not." So
He like holds himself as well. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
It doesn't
He's really
really
getting into
sort
the acting.
of... He just pisses himself. Come on. It doesn't really kind of reveal this for later, but I mean, it's not pretty obvious that Mommy and Daddy are very racist as well to the rest of the people living in the neighborhood. I think they mentioned a few times that the neighborhood's gone to pot or something along those lines. Yeah, so Leroy does a game. So Spencer turns himself into
the gas man
the gas man. Yeah.
knocks on the door and says, "I'm the gas man." He goes, "I'll come in then, I guess."
Can I see your
Yeah.
identification? And he's just got like a shitty bit of paper that he's laminated.
It says gas man.
Gas man. And in the picture, he's not even looking. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't really see what happens to him. I mean, we do know eventually, but we don't see it. We don't see it happen. He kind of goes inside and then leaves the fool. Oh, and then fool and Leroy are in the car, and then Mommy and Daddy drive off somewhere and leave them.
They go off in the car. Leroy goes, "Oh, that piece of shit, Spencer. He's in there getting all the treasure for himself. So we're going in after him." So they break in, and this is where where we get Leroy, I think, get some of the sharpest dialogue in the whole movie as they're breaking in. He gets two lines that I made right above here. So first, when they're breaking in, Fool like goes, "Oh, maybe Spencer's like trying, he's on the way back out or whatever." He goes, "Oh, maybe the president's going to make me secretary of pussy."
Yeah.
He says that to a kid, and the kid's like, "What?"
And then in response to it, Fool basically goes, "Oh, come on, mate. I'm only 13." And he goes, if I may read a passage, he says, 13's the worst age. Too old for tit, too young for ass. Fucked either way."
It's good.
That's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
But sadly, his cool dialogue is cut very short because he busts the door open, and what should come tearing out but a big horrible dog who immediately like sets on him and is biting him to shit. Thankfully, though, Fool thinks very quickly, and the dog does respond to insults.
That's like a kids' film technique to put in there.
What did he say? Your mother
Is there a mistaken masseuse pit in this film? I can't remember.
He massages the dog.
Yeah.
Your mother sleeps with cats, and the dog goes, "You what?"
My mother was a saint, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he dog played by Tim Allen. So the dog lunges at him, but Fool is too quick. He jumps up and Spider-Man's onto the ceiling, and then
that dog. If this was an adult, that dog would rip his throat out. If this was like an adult film, like
that dog would fuck him up.
Because it's a big like Rottweiler, right?
It's not even like just a big Rottweiler. It's kind of supernaturally kind of. It seems supernatural to me, that dog. But then most of the stuff in this film is kind of pushing realism, bending it a little bit.
Dog can't penetrate a broom that they kind of put up against the door to seal it shut. So the dog is locked out, and they can break further into the house.
Yeah.
So they start looking around. Piggy calls Fool a chicken or something. He doesn't want to go down to the basement.
He's going upstairs, and he wants Fool to go downstairs. I made note in this section that they have like some classic Resident Evil camera angles as they're walking through the house. It does loads of like fixed angle looking down, like sort of like proper like fixed camera shots from various angles as they're walking through the house.
When did the first Resi come out? It's like 96 or something, I
96,
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
After this. So maybe we should say that Resident Evil has lots of people under the stairs angles instead.
Yeah, that would be fair.
So yeah, full protesting. He laments on the fact that he's told him that he's too much of a pussy, so he decided to go downstairs, only to find Spencer spooked to death or almost to death. I'm not sure if he's dead or just
His
on
hair
the verge
looks
of dying.
His hair
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Marv's hair in Home
Yeah.
Alone 2 after he's been electrocuted and covered in paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bright
He
white.
looks like he's been attacked with like a bag of flour. Like he's been antiqued.
It's antiques. With this one though, from what we learn later, I guess spoilers for later on. What are we to believe's happened to him? Because as we learn later, the people under the stairs aren't actually nasty. So what's got him?
They still want to eat him, don't they? I think they're still hungry. I think Everett shot him with some flour, and then he died or something.
Maybe he had celiacs, and they force fed him lots of like wheat and
gluten
flour,
and
and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no!" And then in his last ounce of strength, he
Yeah.
just put him by the stairs.
But like the grunge band Pearl Jam are like eating his hand, right? Gonna eat this hand, yeah.
They're chumming him up. And also, is there a TV in the wall with the Gulf War on?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
there is.
I assume it's the Gulf War based on the date.
Yeah. I no idea. It's a weird little CRT, like a really small one.
And it's inside the wall.
Yeah, so it's like for them to watch for the kids to stay on top of current affairs.
Events.
Yeah.
You guys are never going to get out of here, but if you do one day, you might want to go and get involved in that Gulf War.
That downstairs bit's weird as well because it's like just like slats. It's like a palette on its side, and there's like a torchlight that seems to shine behind it, like a music video.
Because the people on the stairs have got torches. People under the stairs.
Yeah.
And sometimes the stairs up to not, back up to the ground level from the basement will periodically just turn into a slide.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. Who knows what Everett McGill? Who knows what Mummy and Daddy sort of? I don't understand what they are or what they do because they kill people, they steal kids, they take parts out of them and turn them into like these grungy kids who eat people and watch.
You go
nudes.
under the stairs. You go under the stairs if you've been bad, like if you won't take out the papers or the trash, or you talk back.
See no evil, hear no evil, see, hear, speak no evil thing, and if they break those rules, apparently,
if you break
automatic.
any one of those three.
So what's the slidey stairs for?
It just looks badass.
Must be
Maybe
difficult
it's to trick them to go down.
Imagine
do you want to go on a slide?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Imagine-
I guess so. Yeah.
Imagine how shocking that would be. They're walking down some stairs and suddenly he presses the button and you're like,
But later on in the film, when the fool's on the stairs, he doesn't turn him into a slide. He just boots him down the stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes mixing it up, doesn't he? He's just like, sometimes I like watching people go down the slide. Other times it's just like booting them down there.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay, so it's where I think he's down there with the body.
He's down there. He slid down there. Spencer's been slurped off, as is horror movie tradition. And the people in the stairs are all trying to get him. They're all like reaching out with their hands. And you sort of get people saying fool, but then he is rescued by the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So he's rescued, and I think is this the point where she explains, "Oh, you've got to go. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to
now,
be."
or is that not after Leroy's dead?
Oh yeah, she just lets him out, and I just believe that he gets rescued by the abused daughter. So she just pulls him out, and then he runs off and finds Leroy, who isn't dead. He's just lying on the floor.
Stuck in a vent for some reason. Gold? Go.
looking for treasure, literally looking for them coins. But yeah, this is when they meet the dog again, and again, this is maybe one of the next examples of them not having a very good plan, because Leroy just goes around like behind the sofa, and the dog just walks in to Fool just standing in the living room.
This is terrible. And then Ving Rhames like pops his head out anyway, like straight away. It's just like the most ridiculous plan
and at
ever.
this point, the dog appears to have no problem with Fool. He just walks in like,
yeah,
it's only Fool. Nothing to worry about with him.
He hasn't remembered that he slagged him off a minute ago on his mom. But as soon as Ving Rhames turns up, again, he's biting him. And then the solution to get rid of the dog that's biting Ving Rhames to death is for Fool to grab him by the hand, drag them in a human chain to the electrified doorknob, and then electrocute them almost all to death.
Yeah, it's a risky play, but I think he chose right. He chose the right thing to do on the night. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, because it appears to just be regular effective against the humans, but it's super effective against the dog, because he takes.
Which, as we know, are water type animals.
Yeah, dog types are weak against electricity.
Yeah.
So the dog is really having to have a lie down from the terrible electrocution, whereas they can run upstairs. Unfortunately, Daddy gets himself into his gimp suit so he can get a +1 on his shooting.
Yeah. He kind of goes a bit BDSM Elmer Fudd. He's very trigger happy. Like, he doesn't really seem to aim too much. Just kind of shoots off all over the place. And then he gets Ving Rhames. I can't remember how it happened. Oh, I think the dog comes into the cabinet where Ving Rhames is hiding, or something. Something spooks him into the open.
Yeah, and he comes out and he shouts to Fool, right?
Yeah, he says "Run, Fool," and then the daddy thought that he was talking to him.
Blows him away.
It wasn't a shotgun thing. He had like a laser guided pistol, like the one that the Terminator has, the first gun in Terminator 1.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. He laser pistols this guy. He only gets the shotgun out when he used to penetrate wall.
Yeah.
This is kind of ridiculous because he's blowing holes like in all over the house with his shotgun. And when the police turn up soon, no one once says there's there's holes in the wall where someone's been shotgun blasted all over the place. It seems like nobody notices. Does he not care about? I thought maybe if the mum character was like, the masonry, please leave the walls out of it. But no.
But no, she doesn't seem to care either. But yeah, he shoots Leroy to death, and all he has to say is, "Dickhead called me a fool." Yeah. Little do they know wasn't slagging him off at all. Oh
yeah, because he shouts, "Run, fool!" Didn't he? Run, fool! Yeah. Run where? Run fucking where?
That's when he ends up in like the bathroom or whatever it is with Alice. She does a bit of exposition, I think, tells him what's going on.
She says like there's roach in the walls,
people under the stairs. We got fucking gimps in the hallways. This is a weird house, mate.
Yeah. So if you want, you've actually got to, if you want to escape, sometimes going in is the way out. So you've got to go into the walls if you want to find your way out the house. And Fool wasn't up for it, but he's very quickly saved by Roach. And they have this is like a kid's comedy movie moment, because he gets pulled into the walls by Roach. At first he's a bit spooked, but then they kind of work together. So the gimp turns up to shoot them, Daddy, and Roach has a slingshot, like a proper Dennis the Menace slingshot, and he pings a rock off his head, and the guy's like, falls over comically, and they run off into the walls.
Isn't the dog going after them, but Roach has developed a trapdoor chute that leads them down into the kitchen cupboard?
Yeah, that makes him come flying out on like a dinner tray onto the kitchen cupboard, looking very confused.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know what happens here.
So this is when the police come. I've got the little list here. So the Gimp gives up trying to shoot them. The police come and basically go, oh, there's a car parked out here, and Fool is banging on the windows now. He can see down to the police, but they can't hear him, despite the fact in one external shot there appears to be no glass in the window next to him. But nevertheless, they can't hear him, and they kind of say, oh no, we don't know who that van is. In fact, we saw a couple of guys walking away. We saw a couple of guys walking away from here. Oh, at this point, does the man only think he's still after Roach in the walls because it's after they look at the van that the guys are in that they see the scout. They see the scout uniform.
Yeah,
well, that could be anyone's scout uniform. No, there was a little boy as well. Wow.
And at that point, they know that he is also probably in the house, right? And it's not just Roach in the walls.
Yeah. They capture him as well. I can't remember how. At some point, they somehow managed to capture Fool.
They capture him a few times, don't they? Throughout the film.
There's
a lot of just like running around.
This is the thing where you think they've escaped, and then they haven't, because then that happens. This is when technically the little boy becomes the villain of the piece because he engineers a situation that gets the dog killed.
Does that happen? That happens here. So he pushes the thing. Everett McGill stabbing the wall with his
bayonet.
Yeah. And he pushes the dog in the way of it or something.
Yeah, because that's another thing. But again, Fool has no plan, and it's like, right, sick of this dog chasing me. I'm going to stand here, and then the dog just gets him and bites him for ages. But he holds it against the wall, and it gets stabbed instead. It's quite a sad little bit. Dog's only following orders.
Yeah, that dog's pretty much.
Earlier, they fed that dog a hand as well. And he kind of ate the hand like it was a
Spencer's hand.
It's rare that I get pissed off with dogs in movies and like kind of want them to die. But apart from Cujo and maybe this dog, I was like, come on, just finish him off. He's become a nuisance.
Yeah.
I'd have tried to turn him.
Oh, yeah. Come on then. Come here. Who's a good boy? I've got two hands here. You can have both of them if you stay on my side until the end. All right.
Listen, I haven't given you a kick in or sent you in. All we've done so far is sent you down on a tea tray.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
But yeah, this is ridiculous. This is where the dog gets it, and again we have like a comedy bit where the man and the woman, they think they've got them. This is, well, I want you to see the body, and he pulls it out only to find it's his dog, and they are a little bit sad for a minute. But
it's kind of the dog kind of like falls through the hole, like as if to go, "It was me you bloody stabbed."
Yeah, you've got me, and I've died. Daddy changes out of his gimp suit.
This is after Roach is dead, right?
I think it's before because he has to get captured in a minute. And I was just right. I'm following these notes that I wrote as I was watching it. But you're right. It's an incredibly so much happens in this film. It's madness.
At some point, Fool gets captured and put in, kicked down the stairs and placed. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is, and he's he puts them in the cannibal cage, and he's feeding, or he ties them up to the thing outside it, and he's feeding bits of Ving Rhames to the cannibal kids,
to the people under the stairs
before shoving him in some brine or whatever he keeps in some puddle, and then he shoves the kid into the cannibal thing. But the cannibals don't attack or eat him, do they? I think.
No, they don't. They're just talking to him. So I think this actually might be the bit where Roach slingshots the guy. So he saves him because Fool goes in and he is this where he goes out and nut punches the guy? There's all sorts of things that go on, but basically at some point when they get captured by both of them, and this is when they say, right, it's time for total spring cleaning. Fool gets chucked in the basement and in with the people under the stairs.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the daughter Alice, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alice gets chucked on the floor in some blood and then is made to have a very, very hot bath.
Yeah, this bath seemed super scalding hot. I mean, at least they've got a good boiler in their house because that is a whole bathtub is like steaming everywhere, and I feel her pain. I think she even looks a bit like red and flushed afterwards, which obviously you're kind of cooking yourself.
Yeah,
when
she
you have a
gets
hot bath.
lobstered.
She gets truly lobstered.
Properly
Pinchy.
It looks
lobstered.
bad. I like I was saying earlier, if I put my foot in a bath and it's too hot, it's unbearable. If it leaves you like the pink socks,
Pink socks.
I don't know. It's just a horrific thing. Just imagine being stuck in a bath. I guess you'll get used to it pretty quick, right?
You do
Would
get
you?
used to it pretty quick, but every body part you put in there has to get used to it. So you put your legs in there, like, and then your thighs. But then,
Yeah.
obviously, if you're male and you're getting in a hot bath, your testes are getting
Cooked.
Very
cooked.
sensitive.
Again, put through them. Very sensitive. So you got to go through that as well. But you could do it. I've got faith in you.
Okay. Well, so Roach has been injured. He's been shot in the leg or side or something. Shot in part of the Roach, and he falls in with the cannibal kids in with Pearl Jam. He gets taken into a boiler.
He saves Fool first. He Weekend at Bernie's the people under the stairs. He gets Ving Rhames to come up like he's a zombie, like he's dead. He goes,
yeah.
spooks him, and then you see he's got an injury, which he gives him some coins and then dies from.
Yeah. He also says if you go in this like a furnace thing there, so if you go up, that leads back into the house. So Fool climbs up, and I think that's when he ends up back in the bedroom with Alice.
Yeah, and then he punches the guy in the crotch and then lamps him.
And then he climbs out the window and jumps off.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was mistaken. He kills the dog. The dog dies here, not before.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the dog gets fought beforehand, but this is where he finally kills the dog. And you're right. They get up to the attic. Alice is too scared to jump out and gets recaptured. But Fool jumps down into the pond that he saw at the very beginning, and he escapes and goes home
with a little bag of coins.
Yeah,
like a couple of gold coins. But like anyone who's played Astrobot's VR adventure or Playroom, whatever this game's called, you get a few coins on the first go, but you always want to go back to the level to get the rest of the gold coins. You need to 100% the level.
You need all those 100%.
Especially if they're worth. Especially if they're worth how much we're led to believe they are.
It's worth 9 years' rent.
It's like the diamonds in the Lost City of Zinj all over again. Just get a few in your pocket, even that one at the end, which they
Make
throw
sure
off
they're not chocolate before you go back to the house.
Yeah,
hang on, let me just check.
Fuck, a chocolate, not even good chocolate, a cheap, nasty chocolate.
Calendar chocolate.
As a child, I used to think that was the thing. That's why you bite coins. Just check that they're not chocolate.
Why do you buy coins? Oh, even the thought of it, if you've got a filling, kind of.
Oh yeah,
just
don't do that.
Me a bit.
Don't lick batteries.
So did he buy because it's like if it leaves a tooth mark, then it's like not
fake
good,
gold, right?
Okay, yeah. So,
but he's determined he's going to go back. So we meet the granddad character who we haven't met in the opening scenes, right? This is when we meet Granddad.
It's almost like the actor who plays Granddad. So Grandpa Booker, Bill Cobbs. It's like he wasn't around for the start of this film. Like he wasn't available, and they were like, "Well, we'll chuck you in on this bit," because honestly, I was like, "Who's this guy?"
I just thought he was the guy who knew the value of coins.
No, because he sort of says, if this was anyone else, I'd give you a spanking and send you back to take them back to the people you'd burgled, but as it's those murderers, then I'll and he tells the story here saying, well, okay, couple of bullet points for you. Point 1, pay your rent for 9 years. Point 2, your mom can be cured of cancer now. Operation's going to be tomorrow. Point 3, oh yeah, those guys actually brother and sister, not parents, and they've been stealing kids for years, but just haven't had the interest in doing anything, I suppose. But you want to stay well away from them. Fool's having none of that. He goes, I'm going back.
Yeah, he's going back. I was kind of like ready for this film.
Die.
He does want to die, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He wants to punch adult men in the nuts just to see what the repercussions would be. Come on, then. Come on. Just as a gimp, are you with a shotgun in my face? I don't give a fuck. He's absolutely nails. He's nails. Think about it. He lasts infinitely longer than Ving Rhames did. A fully grown beast of a guy.
The thing is, if there wasn't a dog, if Ving Rhames was up hand to hand against Everett McGill in his gimp suit, I would bet on Ving Rhames because Ving Rhames is a beast.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Yeah. So before we go back to the house, I don't know if the police are there at that point. They're like having a tea party or something.
This is when they have. This is the start of Fool's plan, right? So first thing he does is he goes to the call box and says, "Oh, I want to report some child abuse." So he turns whistleblower and says, "Oh, some child abuse going here."
Yeah.
But
sadly, they send a lot of people for a potential child abuse case. I mean,
well, they get free cake or whatever they get there.
They're like the commissioner.
I'm not up to scratch on what they would do, but I thought if you reported a something like that, would they send
a whole squad?
Would they send the whole squad there? The department
guys. Yeah, to get some Battenberg and a rooibos tea from the posh people.
Lovely bit
of tea. Yeah, they kind of point out, don't they, that they're like, oh no, there's definitely no child abuse, but put on a lovely spread here, so send the rest of the police around, and they've got pipes and music and all sorts.
Luckily, Daddy has got the polyfiller on the walls just to get rid of those shotgun shells.
So I can't remember how Fool gets back in. He somehow manages to find himself back inside the house.
He's hiding in the kitchen cabinet when all the police leave.
He's hiding in like the top kitchen cabinet, probably the most difficult one to get in and like not fall through the bottom. He's like right at the top. He comes back.
And surely there must have been something in that cupboard.
Yeah. He would have had to, whilst they were talking about cake or swapping stories, behind them, you would have seen him taking all the cups and stuff out of a cupboard and then like climbing inside.
Clunk,
he'd drop a cup and go, whoop, just catch it at the last moment before.
Yeah.
Like on his foot. Although maybe this is part of the plan. Maybe he had to report the child abuse so the whole police department would go round. And maybe the cupboard he's hiding in is where all the cake plates are.
He knows.
So had to have taken them all out.
Yeah. So he finds Alice again, and he's like, "Look, Alice, although I have no proof, your mum and dad aren't your mum and dad. So if they, I think you should try and kill them the next time you see them, please. Because we know they're brother and sister. Because Booker T said so." Grandpa Booker T.
Booker said so, yeah.
But we don't know. I mean, Alice could still be their daughter.
But she's on board with it. She thinks, yeah, now you mention it, it does make sense that they probably stole me as a baby. I'm all good. But unfortunately, it's not only old Poindexter that can have a plan, because Mommy and Daddy pretend they're going off to bed, but actually they've set up a complex tape recorder device that has them doing their prayers.
Absolutely batshit crazy. This bit is. It's just so ridiculous.
And also, I don't understand, because what was Fool's plan? Because what he does is he's trying to creep up on them with like a poker. These two adults, and he's like walks into the room ready to get them, and he's like, "Oh, they're gone, and it's just a tape recorder. What were you going to do if they were there doing their prayers? Bash them?"
He's going to bash them.
Yeah, exactly. He's just going to punch him. He's going to punch him, the gimp in the balls,
and then kill them both with that poker. But what's happened is, while he was distracted by the tape recorder, the guy has got back. The man has got back into his gimp suit, giving his shotgun more effectiveness. But he's failed to think here is that the gimp suit gives him lots of protection in lots of areas. Not in the eyes, though. He gets a classic thumb in the eyes.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think he ends up back in the basement, right?
Yeah, he smashes them. I'll run through this. So basically, he smashes them with a poker. Made a note here that don't worry, because based on that terrible brain injury, the Gimp's probably going to get a terrible like subarachnoid hemorrhage and die in a couple of days anyway. So in many ways, in the long game, he's won. He goes back. He climbs up the chimney and rescues Alice from the attic where she's been trapped.
And he says, "Climb down the chimney with me." There's only like your mum and dad aiming a shotgun up the chimney.
Yeah,
it'd be fine.
But the next plan is to wait for them to point their head up the chimney to shoot at them, and then chuck a brick at them, which he does, and then they jump down the chimney and poke their fingers in the woman's nose until she's also defeated.
Yeah.
And then they slide down to the basement, like you say, and the people under the stairs are there. And again, there's no plan. But thankfully, the community's all come out, and they're all at the door.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So the sister and all the others at the door said, "Boo! What's going on here?"
Mummy goes to drop a racial slur, doesn't she? And then everyone kind of like appears around the corner. Don't you dare!
Yeah.
And then the daughter just falls out of the ceiling and knocks the mum out temporarily.
That was absolutely mad. Where did she come from? Is there like a series of vents or some ducts?
Yeah, she jumps out the ceiling and says that. Meanwhile, Fool is back in the basement, and he meets the grunge band. He has established at this point that they're not wrong-uns, and says, you're going to get out. You're going to get back out there, outside, to the three main things to attract them outside. Do you remember what they were?
Oh yeah, women was one. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Did they say sun? The
sun, the birds, and the women.
The sun, the birds, and the women. Because the women of this town, what they're gonna want is these emancipated, blue, sunken-eyed zombie people who don't speak, who look like Meatloaf when he's made up to look like a vampire, just wandering around. Oh, this kind of guy. I want to get to know him.
So yeah, these emaciated, like little skeleton zombie chalky men that they want to get them out of there.
Probably don't even know the concept of like sexuality, or maybe they do. Who knows what's been going on down there?
Well, they've had the TV. It can't be Gulf War 24/7. But I also wonder, bearing in mind they were thrown down there as children when they got out of hand, how do they all have adult clothes? Where do they get their cut-off denim jackets from?
From the people that they kill, I guess. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But else is
cut off denim jackets. They're all dressed like
flannel,
like sleeveless denim
Yeah.
jackets. But what else is in the basement? Well, there's a few things actually. There's
dynamite,
fuck tons of dynamite, and Scrooge McDuck's money bin.
They said that Scrooge McDuck's money. Dive straight into it, but it's only like a foot deep.
There's a bit where Fool says, it's weird that you put the dynamite next to the money, but okay. Like, he's kind of trying to make it seem less weird for the audience. But it is weird to have dynamite and money in a safe. Why would you just keep a load of dynamite?
Yeah, well, and why would you keep it in the safe? Because surely if your safe you ever get locked out your safe, you're going to want that to get into it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is one of the things. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Have you seen I think it's like the PG cut of Deadpool 2, where it's done like The Princess Bride, where he's talking to the guy from it, and it has a point in that where he says, he talks about something being like bad writing, and they're pointing it out very overtly, and the guy says, like, pointing out that it's bad writing doesn't mean that it's no longer bad writing.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's the issue with the dynamite. Like, isn't it stupid that you put your dynamite right next to all of your money? But you're right, and he's tricked him. I don't know how he's done this. Like, he's wedged coins into the candles.
I mean, again, madness. That is just like. First of all, he's got to think about it as a concept to trick him, and then he's got to somehow have it pay off.
Well, all he needs is 20 seconds while this 13-year-old boy Why is a bomb?
Candles like that last hours, don't they? They don't. You'd have to do a test run, see how quickly it goes, time it, mark on.
Is it just to trick the guy to think that he's over there counting the coins?
Yeah, exactly.
And because the gimp's like, oh, I know what you're doing. You're counting them coins. I've done it myself many times.
Yeah, he says
As
that.
if the kid can't resist counting the coins.
Stand out of sight and then throw a coin into that corner. We'll have exactly the same outcome.
Yeah.
The fact that he's wedged them into candles is
maybe he had a lot
bizarre.
of time to think about it when he was hiding in the kitchen cabinet.
Oh, he had loads of time. He'd already thought of scenario A, B, C, D, E, F, G, of all the different things he was going to do.
From what I've known of this guy whose house I've been in for a little while, I reckon he's going to be well into counting those coins. But yeah, he comes down and basically says, "Oh, I've got a bomb here, so I don't care anymore. If I die, that's fine. But if you shoot me, this bomb's going to go off." And I reckon if you shot someone, they might fall away from the bomb, not like fall forwards and put the wires together.
It's hard, isn't it? Because because he's got to put the wires together. So if you automatically just go shotgun him in the stomach, boom, dead.
Yeah. But no, he says, "Oh, right, you if you get me, then you'll be for it as well. All your money's gonna get blown up, and you'll get blown up. I'll blow this place to hell." But then what happens is the mom has got back up, so the woman's back up from being knocked out. They took her eyes off for a second, and she is chasing the girl Alice with a knife. But she didn't account on the grunge band under the stairs breaking through the stairs and eating her.
Yeah, I think they do.
So they eat her up. Meanwhile, Fool just sets off the bomb that he's next to.
Yeah, I mean that was his plan. As long as he just sets off the bomb and dives out the way behind the wall, he's going to be fine. All right. I mean, he's worked it out. He's thought about it in the cupboard. He knows all possible outcomes.
I mean, the Fool is a bit of a misnomer. His real name is Poindexter, so we know he's actually very, very clever.
He's a Poindexter.
He knows exactly when to dive out of the way.
He's got all the calculations down, and so rightly so, because what happens is the very, very specific explosion doesn't appear to do much structural damage to the house, but kills that man, or at least knocks him out so he drowns in the pool, in the water that he falls into, where he kept Ving Rhames' body. So we assume he is either dead already or drowned. Structurally, the house is okay, but explosions do come out of the windows and out the chimney, blasting the money up into the heavens and redistributing it to the people.
It was basically like a big version of that glass phone box in Noel's house party, where the money, where you go in and you've got to collect as much money as you can, which I liked. It was fun.
So
I was expecting Mr. Blobby to be there as well, but he wasn't.
He creates like a cash vortex. Some would argue, if he truly wanted to redistribute the wealth amongst the community that had suffered at the hands of these people, he might have captured the man, and bearing in mind the guy had counted the money, he could have distributed it in a more fair way versus who was there on that day. How much is there?
Split it.
And how much can you catch as it flutters from the sky?
As everyone's dancing and high-fiving, trading, saying, "I've got loads of cash here," the grunge band, the kids, they leave all together, and I think in tribute to their sister in the house, they call themselves Alice in Chains, and they start a new band. And they become quite famous. Have a couple of good songs.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. But yeah, maladjusted cannibals, victims of abuse, and probably with families out there in the world, are just left to wander into the streets in search of sunlight, birds, and women.
Apparently, Alice in Chains were formed in 1987, so unless this film is set in 1987.
Well, they formed when they were in the...
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
they went, right, who's going to be the bassist then?
They broke into the scene, as in out of the cage,
out of the house.
In 91.
From under the stairs,
From under the stairs, yeah. The guy kind of looks like Jerry Cantrell, the main one, with the long hair.
I think you've cracked this one wide open.
It's got to be.
But yeah,
Okay.
and then we end up with a beautiful and meaningful song called "Do the Right Thing," which is it's about doing the right thing.
Come on, just
I don't think we see Alison in full at the end. I imagine her dancing, smooching. Maybe a bit young for that. I don't know. I've got some name game for you. If you guys are up for it,
go on.
Yes,
might be quite difficult.
Always ready.
It might be quite not difficult. Oh, but you know what? I've only got 3 though, so you have to make the most of them. Okay, number 1. So there's a film I watched the other day. It's about a minister, and he tries to pick up his prayer book, but it's got some kind of syrupy stuff stuck to the bottom of it, so he can't pick up his prayer book.
It's the something under the prayers.
There's something under the prayers. Something under the prayers. What's sticky? Syrup?
Something sticky and syrupy. And
treacle under the prayers.
Treacle under the prayers. Good one. Okay, number 2.
You've only got 3, and that's one of them.
I've got another one, but it hasn't got the setup. So we'll wing it. Okay, so this other one I watched. It's about a bunch of 70s dancers, and they're boogieing, but shit goes down. One of them finds a bug in his trousers.
What in his trousers?
A bug, like an insect in his trousers.
The beetle under the flares.
Beetle under the flares. When Putin's favorite Western action star wasn't allowed to have a birthday party as a kid, he had a strop and hid under the furniture.
The seagull or seagull under the chairs.
The seagull under the chairs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so.
Strop.
So you've got. Okay. Yeah. So you break down and there's this film I watched. I completely got the thing. You break down and then you're like, I need to get the spare tire out. And as this person tries to take the spare tire out, there's like a little ratty creature under the spare tire.
The weasel under the spares.
The weasel under the spares. Well done.
I mean that's just fantastic. That was good.
Bit of brain, some brain teasers for you there. Get that taken over.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I guess we need to rate the film. I think I'm not sure what I'm going to go for. I'll go first because I'll end up basing it around what you guys go with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my gut, and my gut is saying C+. Like, it's got a lot of cool. It's very. You're not going to see any other films like this. It's a very specific type of film. It's a very unmarketable film. I can't imagine what Wes was thinking or what his financiers were thinking when he said it will be like every film that you've ever seen. But it's kind of fun. I don't think I'm going to watch it again anytime soon. And yeah, C+. What else can you give it? I don't know.
I mean, I did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it. I was laughing. So the comedy worked, no matter how awkwardly some of the lines landed. I mean, it's pretty mad, but still, had a good time with it. I'll probably go a little bit more than you. I'll go for a B-, I think. I'm being ever so generous lately.
After your Congo A last week.
Oh yeah, I stick by that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's so strange. Like I said at the top, like 90% of it could be like a Goosebumps level intro to horror, quite a child friendly. I think back to your conversation with Alice about things that are suitable for a younger audience. 90% of this would be a good entry into horror, but there's just those couple of elements, like how often they say fuck, or a guy being shot to death and then fed to people, that are just individual scenes that really feel like a big spin out of this one, and it's strange. And if our recap has given anyone who hasn't seen this an impression, it is bonkers. It is an insane movie. My other note on that was like at the point where it feels like it's wrapping up. I looked at the time and there was like 30 minutes left.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Yeah.
The bit where he goes back to the house feels like, oh, what? Really?
Do you reckon, like, when they first did it, like, they went to the editors and went, oh, it's 10 minutes too short, and goes, oh, okay, I've added another 40 minutes to this. Yeah, it is absolute craziness. And like Luke, I don't think I'm going to watch it again for a little while, but like you, Ben, I don't think I had a bad time watching it. No. There's some perfectly fun things, and there's some good imagery, and you know what? I had a jolly good time. So I'm gonna join you on a C+.
Very nice.
Cool. Okay. What are we doing next week if we're not doing Dungeons and Jackson?
I think we're down for Prince of Darkness, another John Carpenter.
Okay. Cool.
Bad boy, which I've not seen for quite a while, long time.
Yeah. Sweet. All right.
Join us for that, Andy. If you want to just make it a trio, three in a row.
Why not? Eh? Why not? We're all guesting elsewhere in the next couple of weeks as well, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We should do Prince of Darkness and then do what's the third one in the Carpenter trilogy called? In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah. That's
in the Minds of Madness. What can't it's called? In the Mouth is the.
Bad.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. If you want to follow us on social media or whatever, follow Andy at SuperAndyCT.
I flipped it actually. I'm at Andy CT Writes now.
I beg your pardon. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can change it.
Can you do that? You did it.
Follow Ben at Ben Errington, or one word.
Ben _ Errington.
Oh.
Sorry.
Shall we do yours, Luke?
Follow Luke at Luke Condor with a K. No, it's Luke of Condor, isn't it? On everything.
It is, yeah. Cool. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovac Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Come and join the Facebook group where you can join some amazing people like Troy Birch, Ben Scaife, David Nesbitt, Anthony. Is Anthony Doyle right? I want to get your surname right. Loads of cool people. Come and say hello. That's the Horror Hangout board of advisors. I'm always amazed by how much the guys in that group have seen. Like whenever a film comes up, everyone's already seen like everything. They're all very educated horror people.
It's a nice community as well. I think it's nice if you've got any ideas, any films you want to suggest, if you want to get in with us talking about quizzes at the top as well, Ben. I know one of the other suggestions was like maybe next time we do it, we'll pair it with something that the group can do at the same time. We'll work on some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And if you've got other people that we should challenge as well, so obviously you guys want to recapture the crown from the nice Chianti crowd. We've had the Valkyries guys on with us previously before. We're all on their podcast the next couple of weeks, right? Have you guys already recorded with them?
No.
Friday, I think.
I'm doing Friday next, recording. And then I'm with them the week after to do some classic horror as well. But yeah,
what are you going to be chatting about?
We're doing American Werewolf in London, I believe.
Cool.
Very nice. We're doing The Thing. Yeah. The Ting, which you joined us on this podcast for, didn't you? The Caribbean sequel. The Ting. Good times, man. Good times. I don't know if it's worth rewatching it because I've seen it like a lot, but maybe I just need a little refresher.
Never a bad time to watch The Thing.
Yeah. I'm going to stick it on. Point. Yeah. Cool. All right. I think that's it. I think we're done. I'm going to eat a bag of crisps, drink some hot Ribena, and watch an episode of Samurai Jack before bed.
Sounds absolutely lovely.
You're gonna check in with Dunstan before bed, Ben?
Maybe I'll do a little recap. You know, I think I need a recap. Maybe I'll save it for the weekend. Who knows?
I might watch the trailer because I've never seen Dunstan Checks In. I'm pretty sure I've not seen it.
Missing out, man. You're missing
Am
out.
I?
It's a gap in your film fan.
Call yourself a cinephile.
Call yourself a cinephile. You haven't seen Dunstan Checks In? Fraud.
You're a fake gamer all over, but for films.
Doing the James Bond thing. He's wearing a suit and he walks in front of the camera and then shoots it, and the barrel is it a secret agent monkey?
That sounds wonderful. Don't know. Can't remember.
I'm
gonna try and hunt down this movie Link as well. So if anyone listening has seen the movie Link, tell me about it. Let's talk about it because I'm gonna go and try and find it.
Cool. All right, nice one, guys. I'm gonna shoot.
Okay, dude.
I'll talk to you in a bit. All right,
All
take
the
it
best.
easy. Bye.
Bye.